Welcome back to episode 22 of the Workshop Podcast. Woohoo! We made it. I don't know why that's a significant number, but 22. I am Patrick Caleri.
I am Sarah Billiot.
And I'm Frankie Valentine.
I'm already regretting how high I made my voice in that intro. I mean, that's fine. It was spur of the moment, and we're just gonna roll past it.
The Swifties will think that you're a fan because 22 is a Taylor Swift song.
Oh, okay. There we go. See, now I've got clout. I've got clout with the Swifties.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22.
Welcome to the Taylor Swift version of the Workshop Podcast. We're just investigating her lyricism.
It's 13 minutes long. That's about all I can stomach her.
Yeah.
I say that knowing full well at some point I want to try the Taylor Swift playlist run. Have you guys seen that?
I don't think so.
Somebody made a playlist, and it is all Taylor Swift. And you start off, the first song is your warm-up. You just walk. And then like the next song, you go up a little bit, and you get a little faster. Certain songs mean to do incline, certain songs mean to go faster, and then the last song is a ballad. So you slow all the way back down and cool down.
Interesting.
It seems fun. I'd rather do it with like Steel Panther or AC/DC, but
I'm sure there's other playlists that do the same thing.
Probably.
It's like, no, this is the only one. I don't know.
You want to exercise, you have to listen to T Swift.
I'm starting to think Frankie might like Taylor Swift.
Look here, man.
Hey, I judge not.
I do like some Taylor Swift songs. There's the one Bejeweled, because it's not a conventional song. It sounds weird. I like weird sounds.
Okay, I will stand by this. Okay, well, this is. I don't know if I want to.
Well, go ahead. No one can see you.
I was going to
say it now.
Okay. But hear me out, though. So there is. I think the best, at least from my experience of her discography, the best Taylor Swift song is that Anti-Hero song. And I know a lot of people don't like the line, sometimes I feel like everybody is a sexy baby. I get that. Totally get it. It's a weird line. That is still the best Taylor Swift. Like it is a weird line, but it does make sense in the context. Best Taylor Swift song line of all time, just because it's not. It's a different song. Like it's different than her normal stuff.
I'm a sexy little baby.
Okay.
I'm a sexy argument, little baby.
And this is completely ironic, but did you not hear her song Wood, where she's talking about Travis Kelce's dick? Come on.
I mean, yeah.
I thought you meant Travis Kelce was a dick. I completely misunderstood that.
That means.
Come
on, Redwood Tree. I don't know if this is the lyrics, but I know that's in it.
My man got a wiener. Honestly, how about yours? T-Swizzle, hit me up.
If anything, the sheer breadth of her discography is impressive. If we can go from my song to that, yeah, it's a very impressive run she's been on.
She went from not singing country in cowboy boots to not singing country in high heels. I'm so proud of her.
There you go. Truly one of the transformations of all time.
I will say, I absolutely despised Miley Cyrus when she was Hannah Montana.
Really?
And then she shaved the side of her fucking head, and I was like, that's my bitch.
Okay,
and I shaved the sides of my fucking head. And I thought I'd be fucking cool, man. I had the thing like she had, but hers was silver and mine was black, and I'm obese. So instead of Miley Cyrus, I achy breaking my own damn heart and come out looking like Big Boo from Orange is the New Black. What did not help was I was also wearing black horn rim glasses at the time.
She does. She came out with an album probably a few years ago, that's very like almost Joan Jett-esque that I really, really like. Can't remember what it was called though.
Yeah, she's changed her style a lot in a good way, I think.
Yeah, she's got a lot of like rasp in her songs.
I think that's probably the drugs, but yeah.
Hey, however you get there.
She smokes menthols and she flicks the ashes into a cup of water and then she drinks that cup of water and then she goes out on stage. Hey, everybody, I can buy myself flowers.
Hey,
That joke hurt.
If your voice can sound like that, but you can still make yourself sing like that, I mean, hell, more power to you.
Yeah.
Somebody took a clip of her in an interview and she's talking really low and she's like while she's talking, and then it cuts to a guy in the bathroom and he's taking a crap and you hear coming from the toilet. There's no difference. Memes are funny. I'm here to support the blind people so they too can enjoy memes. I read beautiful things aloud. No, but yeah, I like that she can buy herself flowers.
Yeah.
You buy yourself those flowers, girl. You deserve it.
Yeah. Hey, chuck me a rose. I'm cute.
Well, I suggested to Sarah that we bring Victor on as a guest star to have a just divulge into like a history podcast for one episode, but we'll save that for a different one.
The history of Taylor Swift by Victor.
Victor would say, "Okay, I'm out." Yeah, no, we were talking about it because Patrick wrote a story weeks ago. It was probably one of our earlier episodes, I think. And it was called How Not to Move an Elephant. And it ended with all of the elephants committing suicide. And I think about it once a week.
It won't leave my brain.
and I had such a bad week last week. And I was like, I mean, it could be worse. You know, I could be an elephant committing suicide right now. So then I had to read the story, obviously. And then I made Victor read it, and he was in love with it. And he's like, "This is how Patrick writes." Yeah, listen to the fucking podcast.
I mean, yes. The answer to that question is,
husband.
This is how Patrick writes. I mean, sometimes, occasionally. No, that like I said, that did make me happy because I based that style on a story that I have had on my bookshelf for years, and it's called The Decline and Fall of Practically Everyone, and it is that writing style. It takes actual historical events, but it just pokes fun at them the entire time, and it's very dry, like British humor.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So
you would probably like there was a book I used to have, the first one called Zeus Grants Stupid Wishes. There's a sequel called George Washington Did Dumb Things. Sorry. My assistant was bringing me water. But yeah, I had the first one, Zeus Grants Stupid Wishes, and it's all the myths, but it points out how fucking stupid all of the actions in the myth are, and how it could have been avoided had Zeus just, kept his dick in his pants or
See, but that's where you made the mistake. Zeus didn't want to do that.
Yeah. How do you keep your dick in your pants when all you wear is a toga? Come on, man.
That's my favorite.
Those parties go nuts.
My favorite part about like pre-Abrahamic religions was how a lot of polytheistic societies were basically like, we'll worship the gods because we don't want them to mess with us. Like, just stay up there. Stay up. We'll burn your stuff. We'll just, please don't get involved in our lives.
Someone spills a cup of wine. God damn it, Dionysus. I was going to drink that. Pomegranate falls off a tree. Persephone? Is that you?
Well, that is a perfect segue into our topic, but we did actually have a writing prompt 2 weeks ago.
We did.
And
then we died.
I think it was like pet peeves or something like that.
Yeah. What is your pet peeve? My pet peeve is having a drink because it did. But I did get the novel that I'm writing to 22,500 words. I almost said pages, and that's where you lose people. including me at that point. Like, how
That
long
would
is
be
it?
impressive, though. Like, even if it was just gibberish, like that's a lot of
It would
pages.
have to be at that point. Like, there's no way. It would have to be gibberish.
I mean,
And
it's
then the
Mardi
cow,
Gras. So everyone's probably drunk.
oh yeah, they starts over in the beginning of the chapters, but it's divided by days. And right now I'm on Monday night, and everything is going great for everyone except Ricky. Poor Ricky. Amy had the baby. It's definitely not his.
Well, that's because when you really put it into perspective, 22,000 words that's close to what, 100 pages if it's like bound, essentially. I mean, that's relatively.
I think it was at 88 pages this morning.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, my second hour is a dual enrollment class. So I don't teach that class. I'm pretty much just a proctor who's there to be sure A, the kids are supervised, B, they're doing their work. I don't have to lesson plan. I just have to exist in the corner. So while they're doing their work, I'm writing my novel. So that's like the perfect class.
I wish I had that.
They had the ideal situation. I mean, I can probably count on one hand the number of things I've written of that length. So that's really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I did write an entire novel when I was in high school, and it was like 80 pages altogether. And it was so bad, I printed it and burnt it. My sister likes it, though. That's all that matters, right?
Number one fan. I think Sarah and I did write something this week.
We did.
Sarah, do you have any preference? You want to go first, second?
I mean, it doesn't matter. Mine's 6 pages long, so I don't know if it's better if I go first since mine's a little bit longer, or if we should. Okay.
That would be fine.
We always make Patrick go first.
Okay, so I kind of took a route. I would like to say that my pet peeve is whenever people eat with their mouths open because it drives me up the freaking wall. And my coworkers, they eat with their mouths open, and even my headphones don't stop me from going into a rage. So that is my pet peeve. However, I've already written a story like that.
I was going to say, I was going to stop you and be like, wait, hang on. Because I do specifically remember because it was really, really good, but like very descriptive. And I was like, I know that she has written something about that before.
Yes. So instead, I took one of my characters that I have way overdeveloped, and I put him in him and his sister in one of my current worlds that I'm working on. And I used his pet peeve. So, this is titled Substance Use Disorder. Or, sorry, Substance Use Disorder. Okay. Daphne held a mug of fresh coffee between her hands, bringing it slowly to her mouth. Steam twirled around her face, fogging the lenses of her glasses until her eyes were 2 blurred moons. I felt her watching me through the haze. She had a way of watching people, cataloging and reading them, even when she didn't mean to. I turned my back to her, knife moving, shoulders tired and tense. The shallots bit at my eyes, but I refused to wipe. I welcomed the burn, actually, because crying in front of Daphne was on my list of things never to do again. She sighed, a small, annoyed sound she used when she was choosing restraint over a string of curses. The granite clinked as she set her mug down. She crossed the kitchen, the soft taps of her socked feet keeping her quiet and coy, and then then her hand was on my forearm, stopping the knife mid-chop. "Look at me, Dee," she said. "She's sick." I jerked my arm free and let the knife clatter to the cutting board, tiny purple cubes flinging across the counter. For a moment, I just stared at my mess. Then I lifted my gaze to her and shot her a look that I hoped warned her to stand down. "Does she know she's sick?" I asked, stretching my arms against the countertop to crack the tension in my shoulders. "Does she know she needs help?" "You were sick," Daphne retorted. "Was not." I rolled my eyes, then my shoulders, then my neck, the holy trinity of avoiding sincerity. Daphne watched me. She pulled off her glasses and cleaned the lenses with the hem of her sweater, still watching me as she pushed them back up the bridge of her nose. "You can help her." I barked a laugh, tilting my head back for the theatrics. What the fuck do you know about addiction, hmm? I said, finally pushing myself out of my corner of the kitchen. Anything? With your big ass DSMs and fancy degrees mom and dad bought? What's the manual say about what the fuck it actually is? Her glasses fogged again, and she pulled them off a second time, wiping them haphazardly with the sleeve of her sweater. I don't need the DSM to tell me what it is, Dee. She tossed her glasses to the side and crossed her arms. The empty mug dangled from her fingers by the handle. I watched you, she said, pointing at me, succumb to the fucked up shit it does to a person. I watched you disappear, and I watched you reappear as a different kind of fucked. And then, her voice softened, then I watched you change into someone entirely new. She set the mug on the countertop and steadied it before it tipped and dragged a hand down her face. I was here. Where were you? Where was I repeated, but she shut me up with a hand in my face, a finger pointed into my chest, her pointed green eyes piercing into mine. You're sober now. You beat it. She tilted her head, her brown curls falling over her shoulder. And now you're taking a step back because you crawled out of the gutter. You don't gotta help no one else, huh? I swatted her hands away from me and turned the burner on beneath the empty skillet. The igniter clicked and clicked before a blue flame rolled out, then died. I cursed under my breath. She's not sick, I said, staring at the stove. She's not well, Daphne countered. But she's not sick, I said. I twisted the knob again, another click and sputter of blue flames before it steadied and stretched across the bottom of the skillet. What the fuck difference does it make? Daph said, her voice rising. Jesus. Sick, I said, dropping a square of butter in the pan, implies she didn't intend to be unwell. Daphne slapped both hands on the granite beside her and boxed me between herself and the counters behind me. Sick, she said, yelling now, means she didn't choose this. I pulled my lips between my teeth to stifle a smile from cracking, but a laugh escaped through a huff, sarcastic and unhelpful. Exactly, I said softly. She chose it. I nudged Daphne aside and made smooth circles around the skillet with my wooden spoon. The butter foamed and browned, smelling nutty and warm and homey. Daphne said nothing. She stared at me in angry silence. She was right to be angry, confused, disappointed in me even. She did watch me change. She had she had stood beside me when I was a shell of a human, and she stood beside me now. But maybe that was the problem. Maybe she hated the new sober me with a recovery sponsor and a toddler. The me that didn't need her to keep himself alive. The me that now had a future. I scraped the diced shallots into the pan, stirring until they softened, followed by a sprinkle of flour and dash of milk, humming a mixture of nursery rhymes that had been stuck in my head since the night before. You didn't choose everything that happened to you, she finally said. She was right there too. I didn't have a smorgasbord of options lined up in order from best choice to worst. I didn't pick up a tablet and choose between staying home or breaking into the school to graffiti Principal Barnes's office. And I certainly didn't choose to spend 3 nights in jail as a silly add on. Those were the direct consequences of one very deliberate, very vivid choice: popping a handful of Molly on the night of my 18th birthday. And I made hundreds of those clear, deliberate choices over the last 13 years, all of which turned into fucked up consequences only an addict understood. And then I chose to get clean. When the consequence of fatherhood stared at me through a sonogram, I saw my future clearly. Deadbeat black dad addicted to opiates and cocaine, no visitation rights or dignity. I chose my daughter, I chose sobriety, and I still choose her and it every single day. Ain't a goddamn disease if I can just walk away. I turned the burner down, pulled 4 eggs and a tomato from the fridge, and rolled them across the cutting board. What do you want me to do, Daff? I sighed. She's drowning, Dee, Daphne said, pleading with me. I know you remember what it's like down there. Help her. I cracked an egg into the skillet and another, then another. We've all thrown her a rope. I followed the eggs with a chopped tomato, scraping small cubes into the pan and letting them nestle into the yolks. People can't grab a rope if they're drowning. She threw her hands up in frustration. In fact, they're not going to grab a rope if they don't even know they're drowning. How poetic, I said, smirking as I squatted to search for oh my goodness, as I squatted to search for the lid to the skillet. Should put that one in your peer reviews or something. I stood with the lid in one hand and shook the pan with the other to release the shallots and cream and eggs and tomatoes from the bottom before placing the lid on top. The eggs would cook more evenly in an enclosed, secure environment. "You're a dick," she said, staring pointedly at me, her signature arm crossed stance not wavering. The kitchen was warm now, the thick air mingling with the nuttiness of the butter and the freshness of the shallots and tomatoes. "Sober one, at least." I grinned. She didn't. When I checked into rehab," I said, lifting the lid, a cloud of eggy steam billowing up and forcing me to lean back. I was waiting for a reason, too. I pulled 2 plates from the overhead cabinet and set them beside the skillet. A disease with a weird ass scientific name, something that would explain why the hell I was so fucked up, a reason I was an addict, something to make it make sense. "There's a literal name for it," she said. "Substance addiction," I interrupted. "Use disorder." I shook my head in response. "Addiction," I repeated. "It's a brain disease," she said. "It's a fucking choice." She shook her head fervently. "You don't want to believe your baby brother would choose to do the shit he did." I shimmied a spatula under 2 perfect eggs, the whites glistening with a brown butter halo. But guess what? Daff? I slid the eggs onto a plate beside a slice of toast. It had gone cool, but not cold, the butter in the middle still soft enough to smear. "I did. I chose it all," I said. "And then I chose to get sober when I was ready." I slid the plate to her, clattering a fork beside it. Her silence was thick and loud. She stared at me, sick and uncomfortable, nauseous almost. Beside a lightly toasted slice of bread, I placed the remaining eggs on my own plate. I groaned as one of the yolks popped, a yellow pool spreading across the white plate. "And if Sav's never ready," Daphne said quietly, staring at the plate in front of her, "if she keeps drowning, then we keep offering the rope." I leaned my elbows against the counter as I dragged the toast through my broken yolk. "And then one day, eventually, she'll make another choice that'll lead to her sobriety." Daphne nodded as she scraped the tines across her teeth. She swallowed and smiled, but that nauseous look never left. "Poetic," she said, dragging her fork across her plate, leaving trails of yellow in its path. "I just hope she has enough time." Hope, I thought, had nothing to do with it, but it was kinder for Daphne and Savannah to let hope linger. So instead, I turned to the shallots scattered across the granite, purple confetti across the black stovetop, brown butter stuck to the skillet's handle. Daphne appeared beside me, sputtering the faucet to life, and rinsed the plates, shooing me away from the mess I made. The end.
It was really good. I thought to make notes. That way I actually have some, I thought to make notes this time.
Hey, look at me too.
that way I actually have something to contribute besides that was real good.
You did good. I like it. I'm writing on my monthly bills, so it's fine.
Oh well. That story was very 168.95 of you.
It's like, oh shit.
That's just Netflix.
I just gave you my social security number. No. Overall, do you want to go first, or?
Yeah, because I have a question about it was really good. I enjoyed it. It was good. The opening descriptions, chef's kiss. Felt like I was there. The smells were smelling. I love the smells. It was very, because that's like one of the strongest scents there is. It brings you to memories and stuff like that. So the minute she said the poof of egg smoke, I was like, and I'm keto, so I can eat this story. It's fine. I did have a question. However, he says some things specifically at the end where he says she's nauseous. How does he know she's nauseous? Like, it doesn't say he noticed her face or anything. It kind of says like it's almost as if he's omnipresent, but it's first person. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I noticed that as I was reading it. I was like, there's something missing there. What I was trying to go for was like, and I think maybe I already did whenever I said sick and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I was trying to go for that face that's like, just, I don't like this situation, kind of. Yeah, I realized that as I was reading it.
And honestly, I think I see what you're talking about, though. Her silence was thick and loud, which again, really, I like the silence is thick is a really good description. Um, I think honestly, all you would need to do if you did want to step it out is just maybe add a single line or descriptor to that little paragraph, like stepping out. Because I think that she stared at me sick and uncomfortable, nauseous almost. I think that does a good enough job. But if you want to make it more, in line with the first person as opposed to omnipresent, if that's what you're worried about. But I do think it does tie well back into the end where it says that nauseous look never leaves her face. So I think that
Yeah.
it's a good callback. So I wouldn't get rid of it. If anything, just maybe a couple edits
Zhuzh it
here or
up a
there.
bit.
But yeah, I
Give
thought
it a
the
zhuzh.
I really liked the you do something really well with your descriptions in that you're able to lead in. So I'll give an example before I say anything. You say, I turned my back to her, knife moving, shoulders tired and tense. You haven't mentioned at this point anything besides the coffee. So, a knife coming out of nowhere. You're like, what's this? But then you immediately, I really like the description. The shallots bit at my eyes. That's a really good one. And it's quick enough after the knife is mentioned that your reader doesn't linger on the what the hell is a knife doing here. You naturally go into it. It almost backs into the description, which I really like, and especially how well it works. Because if I wrote something like that, I would mention the knife. I wouldn't mention it again for 3 sentences, and then people would be like, "Oh, okay, he's in a kitchen. I thought he was about to murder someone." But yeah, the shallots bit at my eyes. I really liked the holy trinity of avoiding sincerity was a really good one as well. So yeah, your description, as always, is really consistent and really great throughout. My take is I think it's a really really good piece because it bothered me. Not and I don't even mean it in the sense of everyone has their own opinions about substance and abuse and whatever. And this is a character giving voice to their opinion, and it's great for that because it is a fraught subject. It's complicated. If you've ever had someone in your life that has addiction issues, it is a very complex thing, especially coming from a character that has their own experience with it. And again, certain things both he and his sister descriptions they both gave bothered me as someone that's seen addiction in other people, but that's my thing. Because I understand that not everyone who's had a relative in addiction can forgive. I mean, there are people that lose themselves so completely. You do really unforgivable things sometimes when you're addicted. So every viewpoint in this is valid and bothering to certain people, which makes it really good, I think.
Okay, that's good to know.
I don't mean that in the sense of like, oh, it makes me mad. No, I mean like,
yeah. I feel like writing something like this it can be very polarizing because like addiction itself is it's a tough topic. But B, this character stance on it's not a disease, it's a choice. I made all these choices, and so is everyone else that's addicted, is also very polarizing, especially considering, like, the DSM literally labels it as a disorder. So, yeah. I feel like I've worked on this character literally since I was in high school. Like, this character has grown with me, and I feel like that's one of his tragic flaws is, like, being so gung-ho that he's right about everything, including this. And even though he's gone through it, it's kinda like, "Alright, dude, shut the fuck up."
No, and that's in a way that's exactly what I wanted to get at too. It is great for that because he is so unrepentant in his views. He's so gung ho, so confident he is right, and it's hard to disagree with someone like that. I mean, especially if they come into it with the "I've been there, I've done that, I'm taking responsibility." I think those were really good portions because polarizing, but it's written well enough that you can see the individual truth for each character. You don't. like I thought he was a dick at times, but I'm also like, but I also see where he's coming from. It's not a you don't have to disagree with everything they say or everything they don't say, but I really liked how in the character you wrote that really was very convincing to me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I did like the two different takes on what addiction is. And I like that you could almost hear well, I did it, why can't you, in his
Right.
voice.
Exactly. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
And that's a very common attitude too.
Mhm.
It's yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was
Very,
going for. So I'm glad it came through.
It did. It really did.
you're very good at writing about things that are complex and polarizing, but in such a way that you're not alienating with the writing. Because I think that
Yeah.
when you do write stuff like that, it's very easy to run into like, am I preaching? Am I on a
Mhm.
soapbox here? But I've never really gotten that take from any of your stuff. If anything, it's just thought provoking in a lot of ways.
Thanks.
But I don't want to
Yeah,
follow it
very
up.
You have to. Being
Yours
an
is
honest
always
man
good.
here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
um,
If Patrick were a beauty queen, he'd be the one with flawless eyeshadow and perfectly snatched chin and wig. No, I'm hideous. I'm silly. No.
no, I no. It has
Kiss
been
my
really
rag. It's a
fun.
hand-me-down.
No, what impresses me both about what you guys write too is that you can write longer short pieces than I can, which is, I mean, that's something I want to work on. But I really like how narrative both of yours usually come off, and that's really, again, I've just struggled with like, okay, where do I start, where do I end, what, but
Yeah.
so
If it's any consolation, I always tell my kids just start in the middle and the rest will happen. And nine times out of 10, that works. like,
Yeah,
like
that's literally how I started with this one. I was like,
yeah.
I know the character. I know that this scene is going to happen. I'm just going to start it and then I'll fill in the blanks. And I'm very surprised that y'all like the beginning because I hated the beginning. I felt like the beginning
Yeah.
wasn't detailed enough.
no, I think
No, it was, yeah.
yeah, I like the descriptions of the kitchen and the fall, the steam and whatnot. It's actually interesting because my my story also will start off with a description of like glasses. So I clocked that. I was like, wait. So I was trying to think of something to write with pet peeves and whatnot, and I was just running into writer's block, and I thought to myself, oh, that's a pet peeve of mine. It can be a pet peeve to have writer's block, right?
Yeah.
So this is sort of like a metaphorical writer's block kind of situation.
Okay.
So I called it floorboards, and I can't remember if one of you has written something called that before. It sounded familiar.
No, I think that was Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
You're good. You're good.
All right. So it's called floorboards. The cool blue of the desktop monitor paints the front of my lenses, and I sigh from a hidden corner of my gut. Hieronymus's weight shifts from one shoulder to the next, left, right, scampering to peek around the oil-slick forest of hair on my crown. A clawed fist about the size of a pencil eraser jabs into my cheek, moving my head to give the creature a better view. Exasperated, though not enough to complain, I twist in my office chair and allow it. What absolute tripe, the cherub crows gleefully, caressing my cheek with a nail thin and hard enough to fillet me if he wanted. He never would, of course. That type of thing holds no interest for him. If you don't have anything nice to say, I chide, rolling my shoulder to dislodge him. But he chitters and squirms away, burrowing underneath my armpit and clinging to the soft flesh of my side. He smirks up at me with a trademark sneer, scaly neck drooping in loose rolls like an infant's diaper. And those in glass houses, he rumbles, and I pretend not to know what he means, but it stings nonetheless. If you really had something important to say, wouldn't you have done it by now? This is attempt, who knows anymore? 50, 60? Shredded paper spews out of the corner wastebasket to carpet the floor of the one-room office, so I know it's been at least that many. Hey. Though it's a relief not to remember the exact count at first. It could be 8 as easily as it may be 80, and that makes the failure feel less permanent. Hey, you. And so long as I pretend that next time will be a success, I can continue to put one foot in front of the other. Read out a line or two, even enjoy how they read for a moment. There is power in that potential, and if I can lose myself in it long enough, then maybe. Hieronymus reaches up and grabs my chin, bringing my gaze to meet his black irises. 134. My heart cracks a bit at that, bleeding into my chest, but I only raise an eyebrow at the cherub. Come again? He stares back innocently, the void of his eyes drinking me in. He doesn't repeat himself, but he doesn't need to. I was hoping for lower, but I can't honestly say I'm surprised. I live surrounded by a corpse yard of 134 stories. 134 worlds that I ground to oblivion. 134 apocalypses at my feet. Or I suppose at our feet, since Hieronymus has been with me since the first page. I can't remember meeting him for the first time, and I wonder if he remembers meeting me. His long tail, plated with razor scales, reaches up my back and clenches around my throat with familiar pressure. He is privy to every story, each hopeful beginning and tattered failure, and it would feel wrong to write without him. The stories that litter my floor belong just as much to him as they do to me. Maybe more so. After all, he's not the one who killed them, as he's so fond of reminding me. I shake my head and blink back to the computer monitor, and the undulating screen is slow to come back into focus. And it'll be 135 if you don't keep hanging off of me. Should have stopped with, it'll be 135, he snickers, pressed against my belly like a monstrous appendix. Just as useless and about 5 times more painful. You say that every time. And it's just as funny as the first. And as true. There has to be something about it that you like. His face lights up, but I stop him before the inevitable. Something other than the fact that it ends. You're no fun anymore, Hieronymus says, and he turns back to the screen, hanging from the fabric of my shirt with flaking claws. His tail coils and uncoils around my neck as he reads, and there's a rasp in his breath. Despite it all, he follows along diligently. I hear when he rumbles the lines I wrote under his breath, rolling them around to see how they taste. That honesty is why I've relied on him for so long. He reaches the end of my last paragraph and tries to whistle, but his mouth can't make the right shape, so it's just a puff of air. Well, pin 7 wings on me and call me a seraphim. Maybe I was wrong. Going off how this reads, there won't be 136th. We both know what he means by that. I want to rebuke him, hurl him across the room into the overstuffed wastebasket, but I would feel too light without him. And he's not wrong, only honest. I'm the reason this room is a cemetery, not him. Anything else, I sigh? I like what I see it doing to you. The cherub looks up at my sunken face, all innocence again, and asks, be honest, aren't you just tired of all this by now? He wouldn't ask if we both didn't know the answer. You know I am, I want to say. I'm so very tired of writing sunsets that will never reach their horizon. But my pride can't let the cherub win either, as he's won every time before. I won't add another half-finished tale to my floorboards. So instead, I drag the cursor down the full length of the screen and delete my 135th story in its entirety. And Hieronymus claps.
Yay!
That was so good.
You like it?
Oh.
That is like, you know those posts that it's like, say you're tired without saying you're tired. And then it's like, say you have writer's block without saying I audibly laughed out loud whenever Hieronymus said 134. I really liked that.
I'm glad you liked it. Honestly, so the name, too, of Hieronymus, there was a part of me, so I was on the way to work, and for some reason, I don't know if you guys are, like, do you know who Hieronymus Bosch was? Bosch?
So familiar.
Exactly. The name popped into my head, and I thought to myself, is that a fantasy character I came up with, or is that a real person? And I had to Google it, and it's a real, I'm pretty sure it's a Dutch painter or something like that. But the name just wouldn't leave my head, and so I couldn't think of any, I was struggling with writer's block, blah, 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 and so I did envision, like, I wanted to write a realized version of writer's block, or, you know, not just writer's block, but the voice that tells you, you know, no matter what you write, it's shit. And so again, the name was just coming up. I'm like, you know what? That's a good name for a little demon thing.
That is a perfect name. Well, not to be outdone by you two, I've decided to give you a little snippet
Okay.
of Mardi Gras.
Okay.
I'm gonna read the first page.
Do it.
All right. Well, technically the second page because the first page just says Saturday. So
Perfect.
all
No
I need
notes.
to- no notes.
No notes.
Anonymous gopher loves it. Okay. A little note should appear. Your best writing yet. You spelled everything correctly. All right, so this is page 1 of chapter 1. I did realize midway through I mixed up Cody and Chris's names. Like at one point, I just swapped them around. I was like, "Oh, oops!"
It happens.
So I had to go in and swap them out a little bit. But here is chapter 1, Saturday morning. Bags of beads filled the back of Ricky's pickup. Stuffed animals and candy littered his back seat, and his ball hitch had just tried to remove his leg from his body. He laid in the gravel driveway, holding his shin and trying to remember how to breathe. Yo, Cody! Ricky's down! Chris doubled over in laughter at his older brother's misfortune. He started walking over to help Ricky up, not realizing how close to the ball hitch he was, and was suddenly on the ground next to Ricky, also trying to remember how to breathe. Karma's real, man. Ricky half laughed, but his legs still throbbed. He let go of his shin and laid out flat on the gravel. His back had been hurting for the past few weeks, and the gravel felt like acupuncture, so he decided to just stay for a few seconds. Chris sat up, still hugging his shin, and put his forehead on his knee. Fuck that thing, man! Cody came out of the house and saw his brothers on the ground and started shaking his head. You two idiots forgot how to walk. What good are you going to be on the route? He walked over to his horse, an Arabian named Gracie, and started to pat her neck and rub her nose. I don't want to trust y'all with my girl and her trailer if you can't walk in a truck without almost killing yourselves. Ricky sat up slowly. His pain was dull, but still there. Shut up, Cody. She'll be fine. Chris looked up at Cody, shot him the bird, then put his head back on his knee. I heard from Colt. Cody stroked Gracie's mane and kissed her big head. He said, Ricky stood up, then held up a hand. I don't give a fuck what he said. Come on, man, he's still our brother. Ricky shook his head. Nope, that's your brother. My brother isn't a fucking cuck. And that's all you get.
All right. There's so much drama.
No
First
offense,
page ends with fucking cuck.
Poor Ricky is having a bad day, isn't he?
Yeah, it's even worse when you realize the woman he's cucking for is Ricky's wife.
Yeah. I mean, in general, it's just not an ideal situation. I'll just put it out there.
No.
I mean, if you're into it, go for it, I guess, in the safety of consenting relationship. But
yeah, this is not a kink shame. This is a cheating piece of shit.
Infidelity shame.
Yes. Thank you.
I really liked the alliteration of the first line. I think it's like bags of beads stuffed the back of the pickup or something like that. I really like it. Is a very bouncy, and I think it really works for that intro line.
And as someone who has rammed their shin into a ball hitch, you do bounce when you hit the ground. I've been on the receiving end of a 3/4 inch ball hitch ramming. That sounds horrible.
So are you trying to set it up where it's like it takes place? Did you say in a week? Or
yeah, it starts Saturday, and it's going to end Mardi Gras night, which is the Tuesday.
Okay.
And
yes, 3 days.
Yeah, the epilogue at the end is Ash Wednesday.
Okay.
Because Mardi Gras is over.
That's gonna be a lot of drama in 3 days.
It is.
And then the Catholics show up.
We're all Catholic. I write what I know.
Oh,
there is a cousin. I named him before I wrote him. and I had to make. Well, I didn't have to make the name fit, but once I had the name, everything about him just flowed. He's their much older cousin. He's the first brothers, not Ricky, the first brother from the last generation. He's the first grandson, first grandchild. He was always with Momo and Pawpaw, who I named after my own grandmother, grandfather who've passed away. And his name is Gunther, but it doesn't really say that in the book because he goes by Gator. It does say it. Ricky says it. But he goes by Gator because when he was 4, he wouldn't quit biting people. So Momo called him Gator and it stuck.
To be fair, I would also go by Gator if my name was Gator.
I was going to say, if allowed, that would definitely be my title. That would be 980.
But he's very much your typical linebacker-sized Cajun man. He just also happens to be a drag queen. Yeah. I love this man.
Your ass.
He will. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right now I'm writing the toga party. There's a toga party. And it's him and the 2 girls. And he's like, honest to God, if anyone tries to pull your toga off, come find me. And the girls kind of laugh. And he's like, why are you laughing? I'm going to kick a fucker in the ass. So, like, and he has his own relationship drama. But there was a line where he's at the parade. Chapter 2 is just called Also Saturday Morning. So clever.
There.
Yeah. Let's see. I can't find it, but he calls him. I sent it to Kit. Wait, it's my favorite line I've ever written for a character in my life, and he calls himself. Oh no. Wait. Oh. Let's see. Oh, I can't get to it. No. Fuck. Yeah, talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back in a minute.
Breath. I can't. I'm just watching. Is she gonna find it?
I just scrolled down. This is the most Cajun shit.
Right?
Gator rolled his eyes and went back to his pasta lie.
Yeah.
Put that quote on the book jacket.
Just the word pasta lie, and every Cajun's gonna be like, yep. Yes. Oh, he calls himself a big gay drag daddy. I had to check it with my friend Kit, who is in the LGBTQ, and Kit's like, 4. I'm like, okay, big gay drag daddy it is. But he actually falls asleep at the parade, and that's how we find out the 2 different groups know each other, because Ricky takes one of those really big beads that comes in the bag and just lobs it and catches Gator right in his little gator.
Oh no, Gator, not Gator.
But yeah, I'm really proud of this thing. It's my current baby, and I've set myself a deadline. I have to finish it for Mardi Gras. If I don't finish it for Mardi Gras, I have to put it away until after Lent.
That's in 2 weeks.
Right? Okay.
But I am on Monday night. Toga 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 is the name of the last chapter that I'm on. And I'm on page 88 with...
Nice.
Yeah, with 22,500 words exactly.
All right. Well, we'll check in next week and see what the progress is.
I'm sorry. Help. I'll look at each page and it's just like Cajun, and I love it. Celeste was born on the bayou, raised on crawfish, and had gumbo put in her nunu bottle as a baby. She was purebred coon ass.
All of that's true about me. Popeyes used to sell gumbo. Popeyes used to sell gumbo in the 90s. It was a very small window, but it happened. And
it's a very, very rare experience.
Yeah. But like, I could smell it. I was only like 3 months old. I could smell it. I wasn't on solid food yet. And they tried to give me like a bottle of formula, and I literally threw it. And Grandma goes, "Watch this." And she took the lid off the bottle, put a little gumbo in it, put the lid back on, and I was fine. So I also didn't take a pacifier because there was no groceries coming out of it. So
I mean, gumbos are delicious. Gumbo is delicious, so
it is. It really is.
And
I don't know why I just pluralized gumbo. Gumbos are delicious. I'll have 2 gumbos.
In your defense, there are different types of gumbos. There's chicken and sausage, chicken, crawfish, shrimp, seafood, oyster.
Shrimp
then there's
is
whatever the fuck. Yeah. Then there's whatever the fuck that woman did on Hell's Kitchen. Her Mardi Gras gumbo. Did y'all see that episode?
Wait, was it this season?
No, it was maybe like season 8, 9, maybe
I watched
5.
all of them, but I don't.
It's like I do know I've seen it.
It was this season with Raj. Because it's Raj he gives the bowl to. It was so bad he sent the bowl around with spoons for everybody to try.
With Raj?
Yeah, you remember Raj? He get drunk and do karate? That was the same season the guy made hen and a pumpkin as his signature dish.
I don't know if you're making this up or not.
It sounds like you're making this up.
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with Hell's Kitchen to call you on it.
That's also the same season the guy served the exotic steak and seafood tartare with capers and white chocolate and shrimp.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
White chocolate.
Gordon Ramsay pukes a lot, poor thing.
That's just wrong.
I'm pretty sure Raj was in their season.
I'm looking it up right now because I literally watch Hell's Kitchen at work. So
I fall asleep to like the lamb sauce compilations.
It is season 8.
Okay, I was right.
I'm gonna start it tomorrow.
All right, we know what Sarah's doing for the rest of the night.
Yeah, it was so bad. Like
Antonia.
he vomited twice. Yeah, he vomited twice and then made everyone else eat it. Like I'm not fucking eating that.
No, I didn't sign up for this. I will eat my stuff.
She took the food helmet off of it, and like even the camera shakes. Even the cameraman was like, "The fuck."
Jump scare.
All right, well that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Season 8.
Oh, it was horrible.
Do we have a topic for next week?
Oh, we do. Thank you, Patrick. Next week's topic. Oh, wait. Let's see. What is next week? Is next week Valentine's Day or the week before Valentine's? Ooh, next week is the week before Valentine's Day and Lunar New Year. So let's go with not diets. Let's get romantic with it. Describe your perfect romantic date. Scene, setting, and person.
Well, mine has to be remote.
Scene in person.
Scene, setting, and person.
Just imagine how upset my wife would be if I didn't write about her on the week of our anniversary.
Oh. And then Angelina Jolie and I went to the market to smell the cheese. But she could not eat the cheese because Ozempic coursed through her veins.
All right.
But she was a grocery store tyrant, and upon entering, the man yelled, "Throw the cheese!" And we were covered with debris.
No notes.
And that's chapter 23 of Mardi Gras by Frankie Valentine.
It takes a real weird right turn.
Cheese.
Yeah. When the fuck did Angelina Jolie get here? I don't understand.
It was implied, you dumbass. Like, Angelina Jolie is implied to be existing in the background of every story we write.
She was changing, what's his name? The little guy in your story, the cherub?
Yeah, Hieronymus.
Hieronymus. She was in the background changing his diaper while the other guy was writing.
Yeah. Angelina Jolie is a smaller version on his shoulder.
Tell him to throw it out. You should throw it out. Throw it out. I threw it out. Well, that's the show.
No, we were talking earlier about topics for the show, and we were wanting to kind of get into. Sarah was reading something that she considered a modern classic, or something that maybe has the potential to go on to become a classic. So we kind of wanted to maybe poke into what's the difference between pop literature or what's pulp fiction is a good word for it versus something that you do see as a classic or something more literary, I guess.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what it is about this book that I'm like, this is gonna be read in years to come. Because whenever I think of classics, I do think of, you know, To Kill a Mockingbird is like the first one that comes to my head. Jane Eyre, like that's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Pride and Prejudice, classic. Like those are the types of books that I think about. And I don't know if it's because there's so much garbage out now, and so coming across a book that's like just I don't it's so modern, it's set in the modern world, but just like with all these other classics, it has these elements of like grief and there's a famine that's happening, there's major floods that's happening, there's a recession that's happening, and it's things that people will forever be able to relate to. But just like, in the 70s and the 60s and the 50s, we didn't understand any of that shit. But we do understand recessions that would happen, and we do understand the racism that was going on. I feel like
Still
in
is going on. Let's
right,
be honest.
yeah,
No, it's done.
yeah,
It's over. We won, remember?
yeah. I feel like in
The
30
white
years,
people? No.
I feel like in 30 years,
What do
someone's
you
gonna pick
mean
up this
we,
book.
Patrick?
So is it so I see the theme seem really resonant. Is it like,
Yeah.
do you find the writing style itself is also distinct? Like, I mean, obviously you wouldn't be reading it if it wasn't decently written.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's very well written. It switches points of views, which I don't think happens, and I can't think of a book from like, that we read in high school or college that's considered a classic that switches points of views.
Mm-hmm.
But it switches
Wait,
between
is it first person point of views or
Or
third
like
no,
person?
it
it's
switches third person.
it switches third
Okay.
person, and I'm on a chapter right now that's randomly in second person, but it works really
Huh.
well.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like kind of all over the place. And the way I was describing it to Victor is like so the book's called The Bee Sting. And it's like this big spiral. Like everything's spiraling out of control, and it's in one person's point of view, and it starts at the end of the spiral, and it starts spiraling toward where the story started. And then it spirals back out to someone else's point of view. And the writing is really good. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. It's also a very long book. It's 21 hours long at 1.5 speed. So
Well, jeez.
Well, I
it's
just
very
bought it with an Audible credit, so let's go, boy.
Oh yeah, no, I'm interested to check this out too. I think
yeah,
that's a really interesting point too that you made. I can't think of any things that we read in our literature classes that did switch perspective. Like in my mind, I'm thinking of like, okay, there's a Game of Thrones, but that's not exactly a
right,
class. We're not reading that in our literature classes, and so part of me
right,
wonders if maybe that's a big draw for you. It's done better than you've seen it before, and so that is also
definitely.
lending itself to it maybe becoming a classic in its own right. It does it.
Yeah,
A classic doesn't have to be the thing that did it first, but it is usually the thing that did it best, and maybe
yeah.
that's where that's coming through for you.
It's so well done. The topics that it talks about. I mean, it talks about morality. It talks about um coming out, like being gay,
Hmm.
and dealing with that. It talks about cyberbullying and catfishing. Like those are relatively new things that are
Mhm.
probably going to happen for forever now that technology is so advanced.
Hmm.
um but I'm sure Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff aren't going to be a thing in 30 years. That people might read this book and say, what the hell is Instagram, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
But I mean, we had to learn what a fucking telegram was. So
Yeah.
like
And I think that's a key aspect to it because all of the classics that we read in high school do take point at fixed points in time or take place at fixed points in time. Now, if you, I mean, I consider Lord of the Rings and Chronicles of Narnia to be classics, but those are different. Those different rules. Like something like The Great Gatsby. Okay, 1920s. You have to know what an automobile is to read The Great Gatsby. But that is still, that's very common knowledge since that era. And I think that you just want to thread the needle of, you can mention technology, you can mention all that kind of stuff, but the moment you make, I think the hallmark of a true classic is that the story itself can exist and it can be thematically impactful, however, whatever context it's in. It's just, this is the vehicle you're using. The modern setting is the vehicle, but it's not always, the themes are deeper than just that. You know, it's not like, oh, Instagram bad. It's no, the grief of human emotion.
Right. Yeah. And like the cyberbullying and the catfishing come in, like this young boy, like he's I don't know exactly how old he is, 10 or 11 maybe, like he's being catfished by someone, and it is so clear to the reader, but it's in his point of view, third person point of view, but it's in his point of view, and he's like, this person sounds great, this is amazing. And I mean, it switches from a kid's point of view to a teenager's point of view, and she's like, I hate everything. My parents suck. I just want to go to school. Fuck this, fuck that. And then it switches to the dad's point of view, and he's like, everything's falling apart. There's this recession, and I can't feed my family, and there's a flood that's happening, and then there's a mom that's like, I can't even like talk to my husband anymore. Where is he? This isn't my husband. I miss my husband. And it's just themes that people, I think, will always across the board be able to relate to. And I just think, I mean, I listen to so many books, and maybe I just have bad taste, I don't know, but I feel like there hasn't been a book that I'm like, I could listen to this again and again and again, because it's just that good, and it's just that timeless. Modern, but timeless.
Yeah. And see, me, whenever I hear the word classic, my brain instantly goes, oh, it's old. And they say, oh, it's an instant classic. No, it's not. It's 20
you can't say
old.
that.
Yeah. Let it age, bro. It's like wine. Let it breathe. Calm down. But do you think there's a difference between popular classic and critical classic, or maybe rather academic classic?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think so. I would put like it sounds elitist if you make the distinction, but I do really think that something that has more of an academic value has that value regardless of how popular it is, because it either furthers the art form itself, or again, it just does something that hasn't been done before. So, I mean, even the classics that we read now, most people don't crack open The Great Gatsby as their first choice, just because it is old, because it is not as relatable. But regardless of that fact, it is still a classic because it is such a hallmark of the era that it was written in, and it teaches us about that. So yeah, I think that you've got Pulp Fiction, which will always be popular with the masses, but as much as I liked the series growing up, Harry Potter isn't gonna be something that really needs to be read in 50 years by school children, or in literature classes. Or in literature classes, because it's a great fairy tale, but that's what it is. I mean, it doesn't really teach us anything about the art form, in my opinion.
Right. Well, you're right. It is the art form you'd be learning about. But in fairy tales defense, there is an undergraduate class that is fairy tales as literature. So like it could worm its way in. But it's not like, I don't see old men with long white beards sitting around drinking whiskey, smoking cigars, and saying, I say, that chap Hagrid, he had something going for him. I feel like Chris in the corner going, she's a turf! Like,
I feel like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Hunger Games, like all of those things, Game of Thrones, I feel like they are popular classics. Like there are things that people will pick up and they will want to read over and over again as like a feel good, like this is I've read this before. I like it. I enjoy it. I don't have to think whenever I
Mhm.
read it. Just
Comfort
as a
read.
feel good book.
Yeah.
Yeah, comfort read.
Mhm.
Whereas the literature or the academic classics, I don't want to say literature, that's kind of snobby. The
It's a
academic
literature
classics.
class, Sarah.
um the academic ones you have to think about, and like you have to pay attention when you're reading, or you're gonna miss something. You're gonna miss something with the art form, you're gonna miss something with the story, symbolism, something like that. um Whereas the
That might be that might
easier.
be why a lot of people, yeah. That might be why a lot of people shy away from the actual classics.
Oh,
Cause
for
like
sure, for sure.
I
It's
think
not.
so.
I was about to make that comment. It's also the big downside to literature, and one of one of the reasons that it seems inaccessible is because it is. I mean, it to fully grasp something like "For Whom the Bell Tolls" or whatever, you really do need to do a little bit of background digging yourself. Understand when this was written in reaction to what. Like it does require, I think, to get the full experience, it requires more background knowledge. And that is not,
yeah,
if you don't have it, you have to seek it out yourself. And that's not always easy to do. I mean, the way you interpret even something like something as old as the Odyssey, I mean, an American audience is going to get something totally different out of it than people that were reading it back then.
yeah.
It's,
Hmm.
yeah.
Whiplash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's
Yeah.
also nothing wrong with liking just popular literature as well. I mean, I think that it's great that we have such a booming industry around that. It's something that really the world hasn't seen up until this point, where if you want to read a specific genre, it's there for you, and that's great. And you have tons of options no
Yeah.
matter what.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Valentine literature, that's my writing. It's got a limited supply, so check out Mardi Gras by Frankie Valentine. No
the
introduction.
the only the question I have is going back to something like Lord of the Rings. I wonder, to me, that Lord of the Rings is kind of the blueprint to modern fantasy literature in that it set so many of the tropes. Like what elves are, what dwarves are, the way we commonly think of them came from Tolkien. So I wonder if you'll see stuff like, maybe not Lord of the Rings, but like standouts in the genre of sci-fi and um, fantasy that eventually do become classics only because of what they stood for in their genre. Like they changed the
Yeah.
landscape of the genre itself.
Right, right.
Yeah. I mean, there was a author we read in Maneri's class. What was his name? Gabriel.
Garcia Marquez.
Yes. Yes. I mean, he was a magical realism author. I mean, that's borderline fantasy right there.
Yeah.
So,
That's
Yeah, A Hundred Years
that's
of Solitude definitely is essentially a fantasy novel, but technically set in the real world. I can't even
yes.
explain it.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a standout. Like he's such a good author and he does such a good job in like combining the fantasy elements with the real world elements. So I don't see why there couldn't be a quote unquote classic, even in like an academic classic, full on Lord of the Rings fantasy or full on Harry Potter fantasy. I feel like eventually that's going to happen if it hasn't already happened with Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter.
Yeah. there's also the fact that in 50 years, depending on who's in charge of the educational system, we don't know what the classics will be. Like they could be, we might never touch Great Gatsby again in the public school system when we decide, it doesn't matter anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
Great
Well, it is a
Gatsby
banned book,
out.
so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Great Gatsby out. Sad Sam back in, baby.
Back in, baby. Scary stories to tell in the dark, they're always there.
Goosebumps? Yeah, we got the Cajun version. Flissons.
R.L. Stein all the way.
Get your pasta lawyer, child. We're going to read us a scary story.
Yeah, I really enjoy that. That's funny that you mentioned Gabriel Garcia Marquez because I was thinking to myself, I wanted to read another of his work soon because apparently the Disney movie Encanto is very much like it has a lot of themes and symbols it borrows from 100 Years of Solitude. And I didn't realize that until I watched it. And Kaylin asked me how I liked it. And I said, I mean, I kind of just want to read 100 Years of Solitude now because it's a better Encanto.
Yeah.
Was that what we read in his class?
No, I don't think it was that. It was short stories by him, which I think. No, 100 Years of Solitude is a novel, right?
It's a full novel, yeah.
Yeah. We read short stories by him. There's a book that we read in Mineri's class that I loved, and I swear it's by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. But I cannot find it for anything. I have searched high and low. My nanny is a librarian, and she searched high and low.
And she's like, I don't think this exists.
Yeah, I don't think it exists either. And I've kept all of my books from Mineri's class because he picked amazing books. And collections of short stories, and I can't find it anywhere. But I swear it was by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and it was a collection of short stories.
He wrote The Blue Lobster. Oh, I'm thinking of something else.
If you're interested in reading, I was just thinking about our conversation about fantasy, sci-fi, something that has maybe a little bit more of a literature bent to it. I think the best chance of a sci-fi author becoming a classic or a classical whatever bibliography is there's a woman named Ursula K. Le Guin who wrote she's since passed, but she wrote exclusively like sci-fi, but it is so much, it deals with human themes and stuff like that, like stuff like sexuality, gender. There's a book she wrote called The Left Hand of Darkness where the entire story is a human is on a planet with a bunch of aliens that have no gender, or they're all male until they want to get pregnant, and then one of them becomes female. And it's a weird concept.
That is gonna do amazing.
But it's so weird, but so delightfully weird because she tackles so many like preconceived notions that the human has, and she's one that I can
in today's society. Politics aside, non-binary is. I don't know if becoming popular is the right. I don't
the kids love to be non-binary.
But there's a lot of people that are choosing to have no gender, and so I think books like that, if given to the right audience, can become very, very, very popular.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see in 20 years what's on the curriculum.
No.
Yeah. I know another author that is, he's very strange. Neil Stevenson. He is kind of sci-fi. I kind of feel like his book Snow Crash was could be a classic in that genre. It's about a guy whose name, I shit you not, is named Hero Protagonist. But it's spelled Hiro. Hero.
I was gonna say,
yeah. He works in the metaverse. He delivers pizzas for Uncle Enzo's Costa Nostra Pizza, but in the metaverse, he's a warrior prince, and it's legitness.
I'll check it out. I like how it's called Snow Crash. You said.
Snow Crash, yeah.
So
Any
he's like,
Neil
he's
Stevenson
either
will do.
what?
But any Neil Stevenson will do. But Snow Crash, Anthem, and my favorite was where is it? Well, Snow Crash was my favorite, but Diamond Age. Diamond Age is about a woman named Nell, and she's a robot.
Okay.
Yeah, she's what does it say? She's state of the art interactive device falls into the hands of a street urchin named Nell. Her life and the entire future of humanity is about to be decoded and reprogrammed. So it's all very buttons and whizzing things in the corner, but his descriptions are good. His story is I don't want to say it's fast paced to make you think you can't keep up with it, like he jumps around, but it has good timing with a slow burn in the background. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard to, and sometimes it's hard to pull that off. Honestly, especially with more action oriented writing, it's so hard to take a step back and not be like, okay, I'm bored. Like I don't care. I want to get to the next part.
I will say, Anthem was difficult for me to follow because I was listening to the audiobook. I had 2 weeks to read it. So I had the audiobook. I was going at double speed, and it was 31 hours long.
Yeah, I'd say that would be a little tough.
That was a little wordy. But it builds this entire, like, whole world with different planets, and I can't tell you what it's about. I'd have to read the synopsis out loud. But the other two were good. They were easy to follow, easy to discuss in the class. I took the class because it was half Neil Stevenson, half Neil Gaiman. And I was like, I can pass with half Neil Gaiman. That's fine. Oh, did you guys see the thing? Oh, yeah, the thing in the... Let's talk for a moment, shall we? How are we feeling? Because I do like Sarah's comment. I love your comment. And I spent half of every month being a full-time dad. That, by definition, is not full-time, Mr. Gaiman.
I mean, that's exactly why we pay our editors. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, like, you are an author. You're a really good author at that. Don't you think you should have...
You should have really proofed that one.
Yeah. I think I get what he's saying, but it has that weird... Yeah, it has that weird...
I understand what he's saying, but it's like, when someone who is a full-time parent who does not have a shit ton of money and is not a globally recognized author and that works full-time, when I see something like that, I'm like, fuck you.
That's a really weird, that's an extremely privileged take of like, I'm a full-time dad half the time. What the fuck does that mean?
Very privileged.
That means that every night at 6:33 p.m. he walks into the living room and goes, "Time for bed, sport," and then discs the fucking Pierce. That is a full-time dad.
Yeah.
I mean...
And poor little Ash is just there going, I want normal parents. Even drug-riddled, abusive son of a bitches would do at this point. Help!
Nah, it's still...
Crackheads in the back?
It's still, I mean, it's still a tough situation. Like, regardless of which way you look at it. I mean, my comment is... pretty much sums up my take. Ethical consumption under capitalism. Impossible. Like, it's, and I don't know if it's right or wrong to distance yourself from the news so that you're like, okay, well, I'm not, if I don't know about it, it is one thing or another. I don't know. It's that's why I really like reading stuff from people who are dead. I'm not, whatever your ideologies were, doesn't matter. You're gone.
Right.
Except H.P. Lovecraft. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I mean, he named that cat the N-word, man.
Even
R. It wasn't even a black cat.
If you're so racist that other racists are like, bro, you need to tone it down a little bit. You've got a problem.
I really wonder what my racist family would think about H.P. Lovecraft, because I know for sure that they don't know who that is, but I think that they would latch on and be like,
this is our personality now.
I'm need to go find this person.
They replaced the Bible with a Necronomicon.
You walk in and be like, we got a new kitten.
My dad would name a cat that. He would, and he would get an all-white cat and do it too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, all right, let's just keep this under wraps about good old HP. Good old HP.
I still haven't watched that show, Lovecraft Country. I know that it's supposed to be like a slap in his face, but still, it's given him clout at some level. I can't do it.
Yeah. And again, that's the complicated thing too, because Lovecraft, again, is a monolith in the field. Like Lovecraftian horror. He created an entire subgenre. I mean, it's so hard and especially for fans of that genre, like, can you really,
Yeah.
if you have no other option, this is the only field of Lovecraftian horror because, it was Lovecraft. I mean, I don't know. And again, he is long dead. At least it's not going to further those ideals.
Yeah, at least he's not going to post on Instagram saying, I didn't mean it whenever I said the N-word.
And half the month, I was a full-time not racist.
I was very charitable to all the orphans that were around.
I changed my cat's name to Cracker, guys. What's wrong? Still a hard R, though.
Still a hard R.
Still a hard R, though, man.
Did you guys ever... There was a comedian, and he said when he was a little boy, he went home and he said, Mom, our teacher said the N-word in class today. And she was like, oh, well, what class was it? And he was like, English. She was reading to us from a book. She's like, oh, was it an old book? And he said, yeah. She goes, oh, well, those older books, yeah, they were really like, they just kind of used that word willy-nilly. What was the book? He said, Clifford the Big Red Dog. I don't think that was in that book.
That's funny.
Well, we pointed out all the races, but look, if you enjoy Lovecraft stuff, again, enjoy the stuff. Don't support the idiot behind the pen.
Yeah,
go to the Pirates Base, steal that shit.
We condone 100%.
Yeah, it is in the Bible. You can steal from a racist.
That's true. It's in Matthew.
It is. Matthew 9:11.
It's also one of those, people in glass houses. I am sure I support people unknowingly. That
absolutely.
Right.
At the end of the day, we're not saying, boo on you. It just, again, we cannot consume ethically under capitalism. This is just kind of the system we're locked in.
And if you're one of our 2 listeners and you enjoy Lovecraft and you didn't know he was a racist, I apologize.
You are going to have a field day on Wikipedia tonight.
Tell us what you found out.
Yeah, share in the comments, but please censor yourself.
Yes. The asterisk is your friend.
Well, I think it's that time.
Yep.
I think so. We've officially
gave him some extra time tonight.
Yeah. At 1 minute and 23 seconds. Oh, that's lucky. That's my lucky number, which isn't helpful in craps, but works with a lot of other things.
All right.
I'm gonna need some more dice, guys.
So our topic next week is the romantic date, person, location, setting. Just what would your perfect romantic date?
Perfect romantic date.
Let's get romantical with it. Ooh, rub me there. Get the icy hot, baby. I'm 35 now. I got to be realistic. Rub that icy hot on my lower back. All right, now put on Hell's Kitchen. Now sit over there. I'm watching my show.
Only season 8.
Only season 8.
The best.
And when this episode's over, baby, I'm gonna make you a gumbo.
Hide it all together. All right.
Patrick, you started us off. You got to finish.
Well, I was going to say I didn't know if that was the rule that those who start have to finish it off because I can't.
No.
I can't technically end.
It is now. 22 episodes in. We know the rules.
I physically cannot end the show, so I'm just very reliant on you to end it when I say so.
And cut.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to episode 22 of the Workshop Podcast. I've been Patrick Caleri.
I have been Sarah Billiot.
I've been Frankie Valentine.
And we will see you next week.
Bye. Remember, all voices welcome. Mwah!
Except for H.P. Lovecraft.
Fuck him and his voice. The cat can stay. We'll call him Joe.